hands lie open in the Lord.
World News. A gunman in Nova Scotia was shot by Royal Canadian Mounted Police officers today after he reportedly went on a shooting spree. The gunman was pronounced dead at the scene. At least 40 people in Afghanistan's presidential palace test positive for COVID-19. The country of Chile will begin to issue immunity cards to those that have recovered from the coronavirus. Antibody tests for the coronavirus are being pushed at locations around the world. However, many are concerned about their reliability. There are over 2,400,000 confirmed cases of coronavirus around the world, with total deaths surpassing 165,000. U.S. News. Andrew Cuomo, the governor of New York, has signed an order allowing online marriages during the lockdown. People in the state will be able to remotely apply for marriage licenses, allowing for virtual ceremonies to be conducted. Mathew Seligman, who played bass for David Bowie, died of coronavirus complications on Friday. On this day, 25 years ago, the Oklahoma City bombing took place at the Alfred P. Murray building, killing 168 people and injuring hundreds more. A police officer was killed and 2 others were injured after they were reportedly ambushed when responding to a call at an apartment complex in San Marcos, Texas. The suspected gunman died of self-inflicted wounds. Some U.S. states are beginning to ease restrictions as boisterous protesters begin to demand the reopening of the economy. There are now more than 764,000 confirmed cases of coronavirus in the U.S., with over 40,000 deaths. Over 620,000 people have recovered from the coronavirus worldwide. So stay with us for much, much more.
Oh, clasp we to our hearts for deathless hour, this close companion in articulate hour, when twofold silence was a song, the song of love.
In Wall Street, the Dow Jones Industrial is up 2.99%. The S&P 500 is up 2.68%. The NYSE Arca Oil Index is up 10.45%. The Nasdaq Composite is up 1.38%. The Russell 2000 Index is up 4.33%. Welcome to another episode of Ruben Rosales' podcast. And I'm so very thankful that you are here with me today. Okay, we have a lot to get into today. There's some states that are beginning to open or lighten up restrictions. I just hope that officials are consulting with experts, with doctors, so that all Americans are safe when they return to work or get together in large gatherings. There seems to be people out there that are protesting that we should reopen. We need to be careful not to get caught up in this argument, and we should always consider that they are experts and they're making the best decisions, and we should follow that plan that they have for us. Okay, so you all know I am living in LA, and last night apparently there was some wild animals that made it out to this area here, and they proceeded to go to where my car is. My car has a cover on it. So they decided to shred the cover of my car. So some people in the area were kind enough to alert me. And they were telling me they were wolves or coyotes or whatever they were. It happened at night, in the middle of the night. It's fine. But I mean, this is like heavily populated area. It's the streets. There's cars everywhere. I mean, you don't think that there's going to be some sort of wild animal, but, strange things happen. So I guess it's true what they say. The freaks do come out at night. I don't know what their fascination is with the car cover, but, they're animals. That's why they're called animals. So it's fine. I taped it up, did a little work. I'll get another one. It's not a big deal. My dog, Faith, however, is really upset. Nah, I'm just kidding. She was going crazy, though, when I walked up to the car. She could smell, I guess, whatever was there, and she was just out of control. But she's still a puppy, so. Alrighty. So let's talk about what we have now. We've created this group of people that are called the essentials, and the group of people that are called the non-essentials. So let's see here. Where do I begin? So if we go back to when we were younger, there was always the cool kids. So the essentials are basically the cool kids. They're defying the odds, they're fighting the virus, and mom and dad are very proud of them, and everybody loves them. I now fall into the category of the non-essential. Though many of us may think so, the non-essentials are not the cool kids. Non-essentials are out in public wearing paper or plastic bags over their heads. They cut out the gallon plastic milk container, put it on their face, wear it as a mask. Oh, they'll paint the happy face on it because the non-essential thinks it's cool. We're out here picking our noses, and some of us try to do it and we forget we have a mask on. We're wearing underwear as masks, make masks out of everything. We play pool with our fruit. We build mazes in our house. We do TikTok and get in trouble. We have conferences and we screw them up. We have nothing to say. We have plenty to say, but it's nothing important. I'm sure there's some non-essentials that are good people, but hey, we're not the cool kids anymore, okay? So you all need to calm down, all right? Have another drink, alcoholic or non-alcoholic, quarantini or whatever you want to call it, and just take it easy. We'll get through this. We have a very important person of interest today, a doctor, an artist, a musician. So let's get to it. Here we go. Okay, we are here with Prashant Ragavhendruhn. So Prashant, please tell the listeners where you are from and your profession.
Yeah, hey Ruben. So I grew up in Austin. I was born and raised in Austin, Texas. Been a Texas kid all my life, really, until I moved out to South Carolina to do residency in internal medicine, pediatrics, so medicine dealing with adults and kids. I've been here for 4 years, but before that, when I was in Texas, I moved from Austin to Dallas, Fort Worth, and that brought me here eventually.
Okay. How long have you been a doctor?
I've been a doctor now, I guess, technically, for 4 years. I graduated med school in 2016, and I've been practicing as a training physician with a degree since that time. So almost coming up on 4 years.
Okay, fantastic. Will you explain to the listeners about your history, including your education, and why you decided to become a doctor of osteopathic medicine? Is that correct? Osteopathic?
Yeah, that's right. So growing up, as is pretty common in Indian families, where I'm from, at least in India, the father's parents come to live with the married couple. So when my parents got married, my grandmother, because my grandfather had passed away, moved with them to America and lived with me and helped raise me. And after she came to America, she kept getting sick, and she was getting older. And I saw a lot of the things that she had to go through, and saw how she was taken care of, and really admired what doctors did. The fact that they kind of melded together a science with a people-centric field, knowing science and knowing intricacies of the adaptable and emerging world of innovation, but also knowing how to deal with people. And I saw the various types of people that dealt with her and how compassionate they were, but how smart they were. I knew that I wanted to do something that had me deal with people, but had to deal with science, because I like people, but I like science as well. And so I went through school, got my degree at UC Dallas in neurosciences, and I think going through it, what I learned was that people can tell you more about their problems than you give them credit for if you take the time to listen to what they're saying and listen to what their body is doing. So I felt a more kind of holistic approach to medicine from the DO degree than I did the MD degree. Not saying that there is any detriment to having an MD degree. I just felt for me to learn medicine, it was the most appropriate way, because there are certain ways that the body changes in response to problems that are occurring that tip you off to what's going on. And it also just educated me to be a better communicator with people as people rather than just as patients.
Okay, so you mentioned you went to UT Dallas. Can you tell the listeners how we know each other? Because we met through UT Dallas. Just give them a quick information on that.
Yeah, absolutely. I forget that we didn't really talk about it. Yeah. So I came into college having done music in high school, mainly as, someone in marching band, jazz band. I played saxophone and bassoon. I learned guitar from a young age and from my dad. And I came to school, wanting to keep up music. I was always the kind of guy just like sang in the shower, didn't really sing before I came to Dallas. And then one of my friends encouraged me to sing with him, and it was fun to do in public, and I figured out that, without any training, I still was okay to hold my own a little bit. So I decided to try out for a musical that UT Dallas was putting on. It was the biggest production that they had put on to that point. It was a musical sideshow. And so I tried out for it, got a role, and you, Ruben, were also in it. You were technically my boss in that show, so that's how we know each other.
Well, you went on to do a lot of great stuff after that, so that's awesome. Can you tell us a bit more about your educational career after you left at UT Dallas?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was lucky enough that I was able to earn a Eugene McDermott scholarship, which basically is a merit-based scholarship that aims to train scholars and leaders of America, kind of to put it in a more professional sense. But basically it was a merit scholarship that allowed me to not only take honors classes, but also have opportunities to be allowed to go to fine art exhibitions in Dallas, see the symphony, and also get internships in the city that would help further my career and my goals in medicine and in public health. So I earned my neuroscience degree. That was my major. I was an economics minor, and I was just short of an arts and performance minor, actually, before I graduated. But had a great time there, really loved the environment. I came from Austin, where the flagship university of the system was, and I just figured I wanted a smaller place and wanted a place where I didn't know that many people so that I could meet new people and experience new things, and that's what UT Dallas provided me in really a great environment that I could learn from and be prepared to go forward.
So after you finished UT Dallas, you went to, was it the University of Texas?
The University of North Texas Health Science Center, which is in Fort Worth, just 30 or so miles west of Dallas. So pretty close, but, Fort Worth's an entirely different place. It's even smaller, a little bit less in the limelight than Dallas was, and that's where I really grew comfortable with kind of this medium-sized city and being in an environment where I could practice in a academic medical center and learn a lot of medicine, but still be in a place where I felt comfortable, where it wasn't hectic. I'm not a guy who likes crowds that much. I like being around culture in a way that allows me to not be in crowds. So that's what cities like Austin, when I grew up there in the 90s, and what Fort Worth provided and what Charleston provides now for me.
Okay.
So it's been great to work and live in places like that.
Yeah, just a little personal info. I was in Charleston in the 90s. I went to the Border Patrol Academy over there. So I spent about I spent about 6 months there. So I really love the place. It's the Victorian homes and just the beaches. It was really beautiful, and there's very rich in culture. It's got its own culture, and it's a lot of history there, and so it is a beautiful place. So I'm glad you're over there. I know because I was there personally. But just to get back, you're also a singer-songwriter, correct? Can you tell us a little bit about that, and have you put out some albums or music?
Right. So I, with the tools of an Apple computer, had GarageBand on there, and I love music and always have, and found out that I could sing a little bit. So I said, you know what, kind of for fun, let's mess around and play stuff and sing stuff and see how it goes. And so I made an album of music that initially was just instrumental, and with one of my friends who helped kind of manage me at the time, quote unquote, we released it, and it came out to all the electronic music streaming platforms. It was on Spotify, it was on iTunes at that time, and then I made another album that was more a mix between instrumental music and singing. So I had 2 albums out under the moniker Captain Highside. The story behind that name is that I was on a rafting trip in New Mexico with some friends, and when we were going down rapids, the guide would tell us to go to the high side of the raft, and I could never make it there, and so I'd always fall over. I would be the one that got in the water if we made it through, even without capsizing. So I thought it was funny. It was kind of a reference to that. And so I made music under that name. But my friend, who was actually also at that time producing indie films in Dallas, and is actually a very influential and helpful person from a film industry standpoint in the city now, there made a movie which was kind of a film noir style vampire film. And he asked me after making my first album, hey, would you want to do the score to this? And I was like, wow, that's a lot. And so, kind of funny, I spent my Christmas vacation at home in Austin, kind of locked in a room at my parents' house, and for a week, all I did was just make music, and kind of came up with a score for the film in a week. And it was kind of cool going to a premiere of a movie, regardless of how big it was, and hearing your music in it and watching it. So that was probably one of the most memorable parts of that time in my life. And I kind of put it to the side to go to med school and focus on studies, because that's kind of a grueling process, and most of residency has been that way. But finally, past year, I've been able to play more, do some open mics with some friends, and start writing music again. So hopefully getting back on the horse with that.
That's awesome. What's the situation during the crisis in Charleston, and how are you handling it?
So we are lucky in a way. I've always counted myself lucky to be here during this, just because it's a little bit smaller of a place, a little bit more spread out, a little bit less dense than places like New York, LA, Chicago, Houston, Dallas, even Austin at this point. And so because of that, we are still in a period of calm where we are getting more and more cases every day, but not to the magnitude that they're getting in places like New York, where they have just more people, we're closer together. You know, we don't have people like riding next to each other on the subway here. Everyone's driving or walking, and if they're walking, they're not like crowded with each other. So we're seeing cases. The predicted peak here is late April, going into early May. So we still have some time to see things get worse and a little bit more drastic. But right now, things are relatively calm, and people feel safe. I think few safe in some circumstances here. South Carolina has been cited as one of the states that's been worse for traveling and moving. Granted, a lot of those statistics are related to going more than 2 miles away from the house, and things in the South in general, it's harder to get to somewhere where you need something in less than 2 miles with all the food deserts that exist here and just the general means the population has. So even with that being the case, I think right now things are safe, and hopefully we can use our common sense to keep things pretty calm. But the worst is yet to come, I think. But I think we'll be prepared for it.
That's excellent. So just going back to the music aspect, can you tell us a little bit about that, and what in the near future should we be looking for with Prashant?
I will say that this process of self-isolation quarantine has actually been kind of a blessing in disguise, giving me more time to spend on that. And so I've started to revisit making music with my good friend GarageBand. It would be unfair of me to not be loyal to what started me out. And I've been writing lyrics, honestly, for years. I am very fond of, I like people, I'm an extrovert overall, but there are some times where I just like to go and sit and write and just be around activity. So I'll go sit at a bar, at a restaurant on a busy night by myself and just write and have a drink and just observe or think back and recollect. And that has served as a lot of lyrics for songs that I'm writing now. They're all in very rough stages of production. Obviously, I don't have the means to make music like other people do. I can afford it, but I haven't gotten them yet. I've kind of just been using the mic on my phone and using my own instruments and instruments that are sampled in to make the music that I think works for me, and with lyrics that come from my experience and my heart. And so yeah, kind of through this process the past couple of weeks, done 2 or 3 songs that I'm pretty happy with, but need some polishing. And so, yeah, there is a chance that in the next year there'll be another, if not album, some sort of EP with new music.
Do you have any external links or any places where our listeners might be able to go to listen to some of this stuff, or any names of the albums? Can you repeat those by any chance?
Yeah, so both of my albums that I made previously are available on SoundCloud for free under my nom de plume, Captain Highside. So if you search Captain Highside on SoundCloud, you should find both of my earlier albums. Unfortunately, they are no longer on the other platforms. I'm still working on the current music that I'm making, so I'm kept it private for now until I can be a little bit more certain about how it is doing. But I'm starting to have people listen to it to get their opinions to kind of figure out how to make it better. Because I have aged 10 years since my last music that I've made, and I would like the music I make to reflect that maturity.
Amen. How is your family doing through this crisis? Is everybody okay? I hope so.
Yes, they're doing great. So my family in America are pretty much all in Texas, spread out, but the close families in Texas. And everyone I've talked to is being very safe and staying at home, and they're very comfortable with that recommendation. They're not people who are struggling to not be outside. They're very content with being at home, so I'm very happy, and I've talked to my parents on a daily basis. My family in India, obviously India is under a little bit more of a strict lockdown, given the population density and population overall and the risk. They're all managing. It's hard. India is a country where you're meant to be out and about doing stuff, but also I think we're lucky as a culture that we are very home-centric, and so a lot of the stuff that happens in our lives happens at home, and so I think that has been manageable and it's been easy to adapt to compared to for other people. So everyone's doing well right now.
Excellent. Well, with that, brother, I want to thank you for taking the time to do this interview. I know you're a busy man. I know you're a doctor, but I also want to say that since I've known you, you're one of my favorite people in the world, because you are you have so many talents, and you exercise them on a daily basis, and you're going to accomplish whatever you put your mind to. So I thank you again for doing this interview. I'll be praying for you and your family. Be blessed, brother. Thank you.
Thank you, Ruben. I agree. I'll have to echo your sentiment. You're incredibly sincere, genuine, and very kind. So thank you for your wishes, and I will pray for you and your family too, sir.
Hey. Feeling strange in a season, shook me to the core, racking my brain for a reason to do this anymore. But I heard a little longer, but this love I found gonna be a little stronger. Gotta make it love. Swim away against the tide. It's rising high. Stay one more night, one more night. Eyes wide open in this moment, baby. You I've chosen, but I'm going crazy. Trying to smile for these photos, pretend it's all okay. Maybe it's fine riding solo if I feel this way, 'cause I've heard much too longer for this love run dry. Don't wanna build this castle wrong, girl, and then wonder why I didn't sail away against the tide. It's rising high. No, I won't stay. One more night, too late to fight. Against the tide. Just pray for better next time. Oh, it's been a long war. How much love are you fighting for? Always trying to keep the score. You won't see my face no more. If all is been a long war, how much love are you fighting for? Here's the rain, now let it pour. You won't see my face no more.
The song is called Against the Tide and is from our good friend, Captain Highside. This concludes our podcast, and thank you again for joining us today. Until next time.